Boom, and we're off. Hello, how's everybody? I'm not gonna lie, I've definitely been better. I am 3 days um, into my uh, quarantine back at Erskine. First day was Thursday, absolute blur, didn't mind at all. Second day yesterday, mistakenly, spent all day in bed. Got up in the morning, felt sick because of antibiotics, um, and then decided I'd go back to my bed in the morning, knowing fine well that I hate staying in my bed anyway, but I just felt like shit. So, um, but come like 3:30 in the afternoon, 4 o'clock, I started to get um anxious, like my whole body. I felt like I literally needed to do some knees to chest or some press ups or fucking, excuse the language, I don't know, just star jumps or something. Like my whole body was just bursting to move, and I couldn't obviously move. I was rolling and wriggling and trying to relieve some pressure and stress, but it wasn't working, and it just kept building up and building up and building up. And then thankfully, two of the staff came in and they were doing like compressing my knees like back to my chest. You know, I wasn't quite getting to my chest, but and then twisting my whole spine, so like lifting over my hips and stuff, and that worked for a little while. But then come maybe like 9 o'clock at night, I started to get really anxious. It felt like I had an elephant sitting on my chest. Now I can, but I couldn't fill my lungs. I couldn't get my breath at all. Uh, I couldn't catch my breath, and the longer I stayed in bed, the longer I didn't move, the more anxious I got. The more um, just not like there was nothing going through my mind. It was just almost like claustrophobia. That like my one of the nurses lifted my sheet, and it felt like I says I can't have a sheet. I need a sheet down, or my table in front of me, all this stuff. Like it was just like everything was making me feel claustrophobic, and it was shite. I think I was up to like one half one two or something. Um, just feeling anxious, and I put a book on, Evolve Your Brain by Dr. Joe Dispenza, which is a really good book. I put it on the Alexa and had a wee listen to that. And next thing I knew, I woke up this morning at like 5, being like pure bright eyed, bushy tailed. I wasn't, because later on in the morning, like, you know, I was knackered. I was sitting on the commode getting a shower and stuff, and I was like absolutely shattered. So, safe to say that this isn't the first time I've been quarantined, but it's safe to say that I'm really not enjoying this one. um, because of the fact that I know it's reasonable temperature outside. It's not too cold, and I love being outdoors, especially in the back garden here. It's just a nice setting. So knowing that I couldn't get out, so I was pretty. I don't know. So anyway, I got up all day today, and my sister came over and we just sat and chilled. I think I slept for about an hour. Sorry, Alicia. I just, one minute I'm sitting there, next thing I'm like, you need to quickly put my headrest on because I'm just going. Oh, I'm going to just fall asleep. Couldn't keep my eyes open. And then she hung about for about 3 hours or something. Was just blared away. Looked on eBay, done all the things that she probably didn't want to do. Looked on eBay for a van. What's with it? Showed her YouTube videos on motorbikes and cars. Aye. So, and then like the pain, like 6 o'clock came, and I was like, man, I was in agony, and I still am. My shoulders and back and my arse. Of all places, my arse cheeks felt like it was numb because I hadn't. I don't know. It's weird. Some people say, um, "Can you feel things?" And I'm like, "How can you feel?" Like I say, I've got a sore arse. They say, "How can you feel that?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't know. It's just a sensation. Like my arse cheeks are like numb, like you've been sitting on a cold wall or a step. You know that feeling. I still get that. I don't know. I don't understand why myself. Nerves, I guess, but and then my shoulders and my arms, my back, and everything's still like I've had some painkillers, but nothing's touching the sides. Ah, man, I don't know. I come on for a wee rant, and I think that was my rant. So I've got another 11 days of quarantine in this little room. Fair enough. Say it's the government guidelines, you know, but I'm wondering if it still is. I've done a bit of research and I looked at it was updated on the 13th of August, which if I believe is yesterday. So and it still said if you come out of hospital, blah blah, you need to quarantine for 14 days or isolate yourself in a room for 14 days. I don't get it. Honestly, it does not make any sense. It's like I had two COVID tests in the hospital, and they were both negative. And that wasn't testing my personality. That was definitely for my um, COVID test. And then I had uh, what was my point? So I had two COVID tests, both negative, and I've had two vaccines, both the Pfizer or whatever it's called. I've had both of those uh, vaccines, but yet I still need to come back. And of course, I'm surrounded by a lot of vulnerable people in terms of their health and that, and I totally respect that. Hence why I'm still sitting in my room. But I know the summer's coming, and they're coming or been and gone, whatever. But I know there's some nice weather coming, and psychologically, even the thought of sitting in this room while the sun splits the skies and it's roasting hot, um, that gives me anxiety just thinking about that alone. I'm aware of how I'm trying to not be too long on this video. Try to cut them down to like 10 minutes. But if anybody has any suggestions on any new regulations that are coming in to elderly care homes, put a wee comment below or send me a message. I'd love to know. Not to get one up and asking, but in case I'm missing out on a bit of fresh air or sitting out in the garden just because somebody's not done their proper research. You know, briefly had someone saying if you've had two tests and this, that, and the next, then you're kind of you don't need to isolate or something. I don't know, but then care homes are different. Man, it's torture. And to think I've got another 11 days, still double figures. Anyway, ran over. I'm sitting mixing some tracks together. That's a good thing about it at night. You know, got all my equipment. It's great. Sit here and got my mixing tables up and buying some new music off Beatport and buzzing. Hopefully get another mix out soon, but during the day I'd rather be out in the sun or the fresh air at least. Anyway, ran over. Now that I'm stuck in my room or in my bed or in my wheelchair, I think I'll just do a wee video every day. Moan. Just moan. So if you want to come somewhere that's just full of miserableness and moans, I'm your man. I'm only kidding, next one will be full of jokes and smiles. That big lip. Big smiles like that. The joke is me trying to get this fucking thing in my mouth. Again, excuse my language. Bye.